What's up, guys? It's your boy Moho, back with a video for you guys. Feeling good. You know, I never really worked out in the morning before, and I actually woke up today and around I woke up at 6:30 in the morning. I was a little bit bored, you know, just chilling. It was still dark out, so you can't really do anything. Ate breakfast, and then like an hour later I worked out in the morning, and I never really did that before, and I gotta say, it feels really good because now I got the whole rest of the day to do whatever, you know, and I don't have to leave at 6 o'clock to go work out. So I think I might try to make this a daily thing. Maybe I could, you know, keep the sleep schedule going. I gotta maintain that because that's pretty awful. I hate there's nothing worse than having a terrible sleep schedule. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys know what that is. You know, it's where you wake up at like 3 in the afternoon. You feel like you've been hit with full-blown AIDS and diabetes all in one to make a fucking hybrid disease, and you just don't know what to do with yourself. It's pretty bad. Yeah, so anyway, I wanted to make this video, and I wanted to actually talk to you guys a little bit about something that I was that I saw on YouTube. You know, I don't really care for Jay-Z that much as a rapper, but you know, as an entrepreneur and a businessman, and just, you know, his intellectual thoughts on expanding and just, you know, his thought process on success, I respect that, you know. And people don't like when you talk about those people because they start thinking that, you know, this, like, the seriousness of the gaming industry is nowhere near the seriousness of the music industry. You know, you got billionaires over there, or not billionaires, but millionaires over there in the music industry, and, you know, companies that are just, you know, already out there, and you know, it's just nowhere as near as serious as the gaming industry. But, you know, the gaming industry is on its way there, and it's going to take, you know, a lot of people still look at gaming as if it is a joke, and it's really not a joke, and people don't really take you seriously when you actually talk about being successful and how to be successful outside of competing. And, you know, they'll just never understand. And I always ask myself why. I never understood why. It's the most frustrating thing. Do people, like, just shut you down? You know what I mean? Instead of listening to you, and when some, like say for instance you're streaming and somebody asks you, how do you, you know, make money outside of competing, then you got those people in there like, you don't, you're washed up, you're garbage, blah blah blah, you know what I mean? And so that really frustrates me, not because they say that, but because I literally don't know, or I never knew how to explain it, why somebody would think that way. And I guess the best way to say it is they're one-dimensional. Your success is their failure, and that's what triggers that response. Because I mean, I never woke up any day and just one random day and just hated on somebody, you know what I mean? Like, I give a lot of respect and a lot of props to those who've actually made it, and in whatever industry. I respect every industry, you know, regardless of the severity of it or not. If it's not a serious industry like the gaming world, in quotations, then, you know, I still give props, and I still understand it, and I want to learn, you know. I mean, like, there's, just because the gaming industry is completely different than the basketball or the, you know, the NBA or anything else like that, doesn't mean you can't learn from it. You know, like, you got to have an open mind to that type of stuff. And I actually watched the Jay-Z interview, and, you know, all of his answers to the questions that they asked were similar to the questions that I get asked, and how he, you know, answered these questions was so perfect that it answered every one of my questions as to why, you know, why the people you know, critique so much, and you know, in a sense, talk shit or put you down. And one of his answers is, you know, people that are actually successful at the end of the day really work hard for what they have, you know. No matter what industry you're in. Obviously, I'm speaking about everything in general. I'm talking about the music industry, the sporting industry, the gaming industry, just every industry that you can, you know, possibly make it big in. Acting industry, you know, people work hard, you know, and a lot of people don't realize that. People think some of the shit is handed to you, and it's really not. It's definitely not. I can go ahead and guarantee you that. I mean, there's a lot of people that tweet me on a daily basis. Just give me that shot, man. Give me that chance, you know. And that's not the way to do it at all. It's nowhere near the way to do it, because nobody gave anybody a chance, you know. And if they did get a chance, it's because they deserved it. It's because they were good enough to actually get on one of the pro teams, or be asked to scrim with one of the pro teams. And when they did scrim with one of the pro teams, they did work and they were picked up. You know what I mean? And a lot of people don't respect hard work. And people are like, well, what the fuck do you do? Huh? You play games. And, you know, that's another thing, they don't take it serious. The severity of what we do isn't taken serious at all, one bit. So when they ask what I do, they don't realize how hard it is to actually wake up, set your schedule, record a gameplay, find what to talk about, edit these videos, render these videos, and the time consumption that it takes to actually do this, upload it. They don't understand what it takes to stream. It's a lot of money to stream. You got to get at least a $1,200 PC. You got to spend at least $100 a month on internet. Like, you know what I mean? They just don't realize, and you got to put the hours in. And not only that, but you got to keep people entertained. You know how hard it is to keep somebody entertained? To keep somebody laughing 24/7? Like, you ever went to somebody's stream and they don't laugh? They're just sitting there talking about how, you know, the gameplay, and that's it? Like, that's boring. You know what I mean? And that's what I want to do, is I want to be an entertainer, not only an entertainer, but a competitor. And I want to, you know, I want to explore all those options, all those outlets. That's me. That's my mentality. That's what I want to do. And to stray a little bit away from what we were just talking about, I want to talk about one of the things that was brought up in the interview. You know, as you know, Jay-Z's going into the basketball industry, and he's becoming a manager and stuff, and he's doing his thing over there, and people always say, what the hell does Jay-Z know about basketball? And they classify you, and that's what I don't like. You know, that's one of the things that's really frustrating. A pet peeve, I guess you could say, is when people classify you just because you're a professional gamer, you know, or let's just, you know, talk about Jay-Z. Just because you're, you know, a rapper and you made it and you know a lot about the music industry doesn't mean that you don't know jack shit about anything else. You know, and that's where the smart people come in hand. You know, people that want to explore other avenues and want to get their knowledge out there. And they, you know, and one of his answers to the question is, you know, what do you know about basketball? And he's like, you know, what do you know about basketball? I know a lot more than you. You know what I mean? And the reason I bring this up is because during the finals and stuff, I was tweeting, you know, who I thought was gonna win, and I was tweeting. You know, I was tweeting about basketball, and people, just because I'm a gamer and I'm a professional gamer and I, you know, just play games, they classify you as only a gamer. Like, they have you, it's like one-dimensional minded people are, you know, telling you that you don't know anything about basketball. And to me, it's the most frustrating. It doesn't bother me, but it's frustrating. You know what I mean? Like, it's so frustrating that people think like that, because I don't think like that. You know, I'm the farthest thing from one-dimensional. And I think everybody should strive to be, you know, away from that thought process, because it holds you back. So anyway, I thought I'd make this video kind of like an inspirational video. You know, if you guys had any questions about how my thought process works, you know, that's pretty much it. You know, I'm not a one-dimensional person. I like to learn about everything, all types of businesses, all types of industries, and you know, you can learn a lot from everything that you put your mind to. If you want to see the video that I was talking about, I'll link it in the description. But anyway, please like the video if you liked it, favorite, subscribe. We'll catch you guys later. Peace.